This or that. I've got a series of face-offs where I have to choose my favorite between two whiskeys. Stick around. What's up guys, Jeff Company from the 18. Now we've done this kind of video before. What it is it's a series of face-offs. I'll choose my favorite between two different whiskeys. I'll give you a brief explanation as to why, then we'll move on to the next. The whiskeys going head to head today were farmed from the comments section under my last this or that video, and I'm going to be doing the same thing today. So this is an ongoing video series. If there are two whiskeys you want to see go head to head in my next video, put them down below in the comments. As always, I do have a mystery pour in my glass. This is a whiskey I've looked at before on the channel. It's something I kind of hyped up a few years back when it was released, or I guess re-released, and I definitely scored it too high. It's a richly sherried whiskey from a brand that doesn't really get talked about too much, but it is still a fantastic whiskey. Good luck guessing, and let's not waste time. Let's jump into our side-by-sides. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. All right, so starting things off, we've got two Lagavulins. We've got Lagavulin 8 against Lagavulin 16, and this is actually surprisingly tough because I think for flavor, I do want to pick the 16, but for specs, I definitely want to pick the 8. The 16 comes in at 43%, the 8 comes in at 48. Now, price-wise, the 16 did get really expensive a few years back, but it's since come back down to normal, at least in my market, and where we're at now, it's only about $10 more expensive than the 8-year-old for double the age, so that's also a consideration. But ultimately, it's got to come down to flavor. Do I want a stronger, more honest distillate with more peat and less cask, or do I want an older, more sophisticated, more mature whiskey with a stronger touch of sherry? Honestly, I do love both because I love the Lagavulin house style, and I love that both of these whiskeys bring something different to the lineup. They both contribute in their own ways, but I think nostalgia is going to play a part here. I'm going to have to go with the 16. But I do love that 8-year-old too. But it's got to be 16 or 8. Facing off next, we have Kilchoman 100% Islay versus Springbank 10. Another pretty difficult one because, at least as far as I'm concerned, the Kilchoman 100% Islay line does have some parallels to Campbelltown whiskies in the sense that it's peated, but it's not heavily peated, and there is also a very farmy quality to it. I think for this one though, I am going to go with Springbank. I do love the 100% Islay line. I think the releases are phenomenal, but I like Springbank more. I think that Springbank 10 is going to be a little bit more complex. You're going to have more cask influence, and I'm just a sucker for the Springbank character. Next, we have Kilkerran 16 versus Kilkerran heavily peated. And the Kilkerran 16 is the easy winner here. It's not honestly that close for me. That said, I think the last batch of heavily peated that I had was batch 7. I hear the newer batches are naturally going to be a little bit older and more rounded, more sophisticated. So I've heard. But that line, the heavily peated line, has never really clicked with me as much as it does for a lot of you guys. And I absolutely love the 16. So easy win for the 16. Next, we have Talisker 10 against Ardnamurchan 10. Now, the question here is, which Ardnamurchan 10, that original one-off release or the standard 10-year-old, which was recently released? If it's the newer one, I can't say. It's been ordered. It's not arrived yet. I am looking forward to trying it, but I can't really compare the two. That said, I'm pretty sure the Ardnamurchan 10 will be better, but that's a guess. Talisker 10 for me in recent years has not been very exciting. Keeping the Talisker theme going, we've got Talisker 18 against Oban 18, and for this one I'm going to pick the Talisker. I absolutely love Talisker 18. That same comment asked for a comparison between Talisker 18 and Lagavulin 16. Once again, it goes to the Talisker. To be fair, the Talisker is pricier than both of those, definitely pricier than the Lagavulin 16, and so it should be better, but price aside, I just love a well-aged Talisker. Lagavulin 16 seems to pop up a lot on this list. Next up, we're putting that one against the Ardbeg Uigeadail, and this is a really tough one because what batch? I mean, Lagavulin 16 itself is known to be somewhat inconsistent. I've had lesser bottles of it for sure, but Ardbeg Uigeadail is the ultimate example of inconsistency, and I guess it's designed that way. It's a batch whiskey, but it's a pretty batchy batch whiskey. So the lesser ones, not as good as the Lagavulin 16. The better ones are miles ahead of the Lagavulin 16, so it's not a tie. It's depends. All right, my pick for the next round is going to lose me some friends because we have Aberlour Abana going up against the beloved Tamdhu batch strength, and I'm going with Aberlour Abana. I still love Abana to this day. Now, if you're new-ish to the whiskey scene, as in you only got into the hobby within the last 10 years or so, you might not understand just how popular Aberlour Abana used to be. It used to be the talk of the town. Everyone was, blogging about it, comparing batches, this and that. And nowadays, it's just less of a conversation. But the new batches are still really, really good. Not only that, it's cheaper than Tamdhu batch strength. Tamdhu batch strength is good, but I do prefer the age-stated stuff. And for a no age-stated whiskey, I do think that it is slightly overpriced. Abana, more reasonably priced, and I think the quality is there. And yeah, let me know what you think down below. I'm sure this one will be a little bit controversial. Next up, we have Laphroaig Quarter Cask against the Ardbeg 5-year-old Wee Beastie, and this is an interesting one. I'm going to go for the Ardbeg. I prefer the Ardbeg house style. It goes deeper, that's what she said, and Laphroaig has never really been my go-to brand, so I'm picking Ardbeg here. Next up, we have Glenmorangie 12 Lysanta against Glendronach 12. I'm picking Glendronach 12. Glendronach is still a good brand. It's not as popular as it once was for reasons, but I still think that the 12 is a really affordable and solid entry-level sherried whiskey. You're going to get more layers and more complexity than you will with the Lysanta. This was an easy pick for me. Back to Ardbeg again. This time it's Ardbeg 10 against Port Charlotte 10, which is a very difficult and very interesting standoff. I have to think about what I want here, because I think if I'm going for complexity, I would have to choose the Port Charlotte, but if I'm going for reachability, I would probably go with the Ardbeg. Now, Ardbeg 10 and I have a rocky history, and I don't think that it's been very consistent over the years, but the last couple bottles I tried were back on point. They were back to form. So I think I'll go with reachability over complexity. I'll choose Ardbeg 10. This will lose me some friends. For this next round, once again, Ardbeg 10, this time against Ledaig 10, and it's going to be Ardbeg 10 again. Ledaig 10, good. I don't get as excited about it as a lot of you guys do. I think Ardbeg 10 is the better whiskey. All right, this next head-to-head is going to be very predictable if you know me at all. We've got Craigellachie 13 against Clynelish 14. I do like Clynelish 14. I think it's a solid whiskey, but I have said this many times on the channel. I think Craigellachie 13 is one of the finest affordable whiskeys of all time. It is funky and characterful. It's meaty. There's grilled pineapple notes. It's just an interesting whiskey. Clynelish 14 is a little bit more of a classic Highlander, but very well executed. But for me, this wasn't close, guys. Next, we've got two sister distilleries going head to head. We've got Deanston 12 against Bunnahabhain 12. Deanston, it's good, but it's never been my brand. I'm definitely picking Bunnahabhain 12 here. For me, there's a cologne, sort of like a perfumey note, floral note in Deanston that never really vibed with me. Oppositely, for the longest time, Bunnahabhain 12 was one of my go-to budget whiskeys. I don't think it's as good as it once was, but it's still a very solid whiskey, and it's easily my favorite of the two. Okay, next up, we have Johnnie Walker Green 15-year-old versus Glen Scotia 15. Honestly, this one isn't that close. I'm going to go with the Glen Scotia. Johnnie Walker is good, balanced, easy, sippable stuff. And listen, Glen Scotia 15 has never even really been one of my favorite Glen Scotias. I don't like it as much as so many others seem to, but of the two, it is going to be so much more characterful and interesting than Johnnie Walker Green. Green is fine, I like it, but maybe I'm just a single malt snob. I mean, I definitely am, I'll admit it. Next up, we've got a fun one. We've got Glenfarclas 15 against Balblair 15, and this is fun because I actually do like both. Glenfarclas 15 has long been my favorite of the affordable range. I think it's a really solid old school age-stated sherried whiskey, and it's one of the only Glenfarclases at 46%. It's good, but I do think that Balblair 15 is going to take this round. I think it's got a little bit more complexity. It's a bit smoother around the edges without losing any character, and I also think it's a bit of an underappreciated gem. So definitely a good one, and that's going to win out over the Farclas. And finally for today, we have Lagavulin 16. Once again, this time we're putting it up against the Ledaig 18, and this one, Another one that's honestly not too close, it's definitely going to be Ledaig 18. It is richer, it is fuller, it's got more going on. It's craft, which also helps. And it's a pretty affordable 18 considering the quality you're getting. So yeah, not that close. And that is enough for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and keep in mind that this is an ongoing series. I make these videos every so often, so let me know what 2 whiskeys you'd like to see me put in a head-to-head for the next video. Also, let me know what you think of my choices in the video. Where was I on the money, and where was I so horribly wrong that I clearly just don't know anything about whiskey? Finally, if you stuck around to find out what the mystery pour in my glass is here, I mentioned that this is a sherried 12-year-old that I hyped up a few years back, definitely scored it too high, but I still think is a beautiful whiskey. What is in the glass is Royal Bracla 12. This is absolutely delicious stuff. Now, there was a version a few years back that was 40% and it was kind of underwhelming, but then they re-released the entire range, 46% non-chill filtered, natural color, and all of which are age stated. So that obviously was a huge step forward for the brand, but I think the reason that they're not talked about too much is that it's a pretty pricey whiskey. I mean, I'm lucky here in Taiwan, most whiskeys are cheap and I can get this for less than $50 US, so about 38 pounds. It's definitely worth that. But if you check the UK websites, for example, you're going to see this going for over 70 pounds. And that's pretty tough to justify. Either way, it's absolutely delicious stuff, so if it's more affordable in your market or if you can find it on sale, it is worth checking out. Regular price, you know, maybe not. Anyway, that will bring us to the end of today's video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, if you want to help support the channel, I'll put Patreon and PayPal links down below. Every little bit helps. Scripting, shooting, editing, this is all me. It's a one-man show, so any little bit of help is appreciated. Patrons over there, good-looking bunch. If you want to join them, you know where to click. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. See you in the next one.